All right, everyone. We're going to jump right back in with our labeling. We're going to continue with that. As you can see, we have the outside of our color wheel labeled. Again, you would have the whole thing drawn in. I just don't have that yet. So your reflection rotation is done. You've labeled the outside with the 12 colors that you need for your color wheel. Our next step is to label the shapes or the compartments or the sections inside. So to help us with that, I'm going to go back to my original pie piece planning paper. You can use this or you can use your actual color wheel as well. Either one is fine. So at the beginning when we were making these, remember you have to design something that has 4 total sections, no more, no less. I know we talked about this while we were creating our pie piece planning paper. And here's why. What we're going to do is actually number these shapes. All right, so we have, or sections rather. So we have our pie slice that we've reflected and rotated. You probably used some tracing paper for that. You can also use that right now. In fact, I'll show you both ways here. But now we need to label everything. So we're just going to go in and with numbers 1 through 4, we're just going to label all the sections in our piece. So the background is going to be number 1. Okay. And then we just label on from there. I'm going to label this blob guy number 2. We're going to name this half arrow number 3. And this little tiny sharp piece we're going to call number 4. Okay. Now all we have to do is redo that over here. So we're going to find a slice that looks, well, so it doesn't matter. One thing that we need to kind of take a look at and identify is that your design is going to be a little bit different, but we're going to try to keep the shapes the same. We have to keep the shapes the same, so we're going to label this the same way. The background's easy, right? That's going to be number 1, so we'll just go ahead and put a nice light little 1. We're going to actually replace these numbers with labels later, but it's easier to take it one step at a time, so let's try that. Number 2 is always going to be this blob shape, so even though it is reflected, right, it's the opposite, we're still going to name it number 2. So this is number 2. Number 3, the half arrow. Perfect. And last but not least, we have the spiky piece over here, which is located here on this slice, is going to be number 4. Okay. The reason why I said you can do this with your tracing paper, so for example, if we do the numbering again, background, blob, number 2, arrow, number 3, and then last but not least, this sharp piece number 4, is that hopefully, so you can kind of lay this down and know which piece is which. So this is easy. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then also, if you want, you can flip this guy over, and now you kind of know which piece is which, if you can read backwards numbers. So I don't know what makes most sense to you, but our goal is all of the backgrounds are going to be number 1, right, no matter where it is. All of our blobby, I don't know, organic shape are going to be number 2, right? All of our arrows are going to be number 3, even though they're right next to each other. Number 3, number 3. Hey, we don't have a finished slice over here, but we can label that number 3 anyway. And then all these small pieces that are kind of close to the center of my design are always going to be 4. All right, so try to keep your numbers consistent, 1, 2, 3, and 4. Go all the way around, label all your compartments so that every single compartment on your color wheel has a number in it, including, here, we can even do the background here. Oops, see, I forgot one. So it's easy to forget. And there we go. So now every shape on mine has its number. Obviously, I have to go in and finish up putting my shapes in. So each slice should have 4 shapes. Make sure they're numbered. Make sure the numbers are the same for each slice, 1 through 4. And then we'll go back and replace those numbers with other labels. So make sure that you're using a pencil to do this. Does anyone have any questions?